The video starts with a captivating question. What if I told you that Kirk Cousins could return to the Vikings? The host recalls recent speculation about Minnesota's quarterback situation. Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold are off the table, but a new name has emerged. ESPN's Adam Schefter has brought up a surprising possibility: Cousins coming back. He notes that the Vikings lost out on Darnold and Daniel Jones and still need a QB2. The arrival of J.J. McCarthy has shifted the franchise's direction. But do the Vikings want an experienced veteran on the bench? Schefter suggests that Minnesota might wait until after the draft for a potential move. He questions whether the Falcons would even consider trading Cousins. But what are the obstacles to making this scenario a reality? Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year contract with the Falcons. The total deal is worth $180 million. However, the selection of Michael Penix Jr. changes everything in Atlanta. Cousins is now seen as the Falcons' QB2. Many believe he could end up being traded. But Cousins has a no-trade clause. That means he must approve any destination. He has publicly stated that he still wants to be a starter. So, is Minnesota really a viable option? Or do other teams have more to offer Cousins? The Vikings' plan seems centered around J.J. McCarthy. The team doesn't appear willing to spend big on a backup QB. But there's a concern. What if McCarthy isn't ready? He's a rookie and will need time to develop. Having a veteran like Cousins could help ease the transition. The problem is the price the Vikings would have to pay. Cousins has a $27.5 million base salary for 2025. The Falcons would have to absorb part of that. Otherwise, Minnesota would need to give up a valuable asset. It would be a risky move for a rebuilding team. If Cousins leaves the Falcons, where could he go? The Browns might be a more attractive destination. Deshaun Watson has a recent history of injuries. Cleveland needs a reliable backup who can take over if necessary. Another team that could be in play is the New England Patriots. Despite having Drake May, a veteran like Cousins could be useful. The Broncos might also look for an experienced quarterback. And what if an injury occurs in preseason? Other teams could enter the race depending on circumstances. That lowers Minnesota's chances of getting Cousins at a bargain. Minnesota still doesn't have a definitive answer at QB2. There are cheaper options on the market. Carson Wentz and Ryan Tannehill remain unsigned. They could be signed to low-cost deals. That would prevent the Vikings from giving up a draft pick. The financial factor makes Cousins an expensive investment. But the emotional aspect could play a role in the decision. Cousins has a good relationship with the roster and fanbase. He already knows Kevin O'Connell's offensive system. That would make his transition smoother if he needed to play. If Cousins returned, what would be the locker room impact? J.J. McCarthy might feel pressured. The presence of a former starter could create tension. But on the other hand, Cousins could be a mentor to McCarthy. McCarthy would have a valuable support system for his NFL transition. Fans would have mixed reactions to Cousins' return. Some still believe he could be the starter. Others think it's time to move on. Cousins' history with the Vikings has had highs and lows. That makes the decision even more complex. The first obstacle is Cousins' no-trade clause. He must approve any potential destination. The second issue is his expensive contract. The Vikings don't want to strain their budget. The third factor is competition from other teams. Teams like the Browns and Patriots might offer better deals. The fourth concern is the Vikings' own plan. They may prefer to develop McCarthy without distractions. But if Cousins is willing to take a pay cut, the conversation changes. The final question is what the Falcons would demand in return. On paper, a Cousins return makes sense. He knows the team and could be a great mentor. But contractual barriers are a major issue. Additionally, Cousins' desire to be a starter could block the deal. The Vikings must think long-term with McCarthy. A cheaper backup might be the best solution. However, if Cousins has no clear path to a starting job, things could shift. The Vikings might wait to see how the market develops. In the end, this story could still have new twists. And in the NFL offseason, anything can happen.